Black Myth Wukong has exposed the feminist agenda.
The anticipated Black Myth Wukong has finally launched, and the game is already shattering records, surpassing the all-time peak player count set by Elden Ring 2.5 years ago. That said, Wukong has been the center of controversy in the last few days, and as a result, here's currently the #1 streamer on Twitch, doing a little trolling after the game launched. Here's the story.
Wukong official guidelines for early copies that streamer gets. It bans feminist propaganda or talking about China.
Black Myth Wukong has exposed the feminist agenda, so they are freaking out regarding this game. It's just another nail in the coffin. Watch the end of the video to fully understand how this game affects feminism, women, and society in general. And today's video comes from the Asmon Gold channel. And now his channel will be linked in the description so you can go and check him out. Now let's go ahead and jump right back into the video.
Oh god, by using the game key and creating content, you acknowledge that you have been informed about the following content and your statements are not related to the marketing team. Do's, enjoy the game. Do not insult or influence other players. Do not use any offensive language or humor. Do not include politics, violence, nudity, feminist propaganda, fetishization. So if you're a furry, you can't play this fucking game. Yeah, you can't fuck the Monkey King, you fucking freak. Fetishization and other content that instigates negative discourse. Do not use trigger words such as quarantine, isolation, or COVID-19. Do not discuss content related to China's game industry policies, opinions, or news. So the reason why they do this, it's actually just so they're compliant with the Chinese government and they don't get the Chinese government on their ass because they're afraid of the government coming in there and basically fucking their shit up. Is because if you say negative things about China and then the company is seen to have done something positive for you, then the company can be seen as working with an actor that's allying themselves against the state. And how do you think that goes for the Chinese companies? Bad. It goes bad. I think it goes bad. Doesn't go very well. This is only for content creators that get the key though, right? No, yeah, I mean, obviously, right? Because if they give the key to somebody, then they're seen as working with that person. Do you see kind of how the issue happens? You can complain that the country is oppressive or it's not fair or it shouldn't be like this. But at the end of the day, the reason why they're doing this is because of that country.
You see, guys, it really doesn't matter. This actually makes a lot of sense. Keep all of your propaganda, keep all of your political beliefs out of video games. The game is, just to be very clear, a woman wrote an article claiming that the game was sexist and misogynist. Then she wrote another article saying that she had never actually played the game, and from what she understands, the game is just pretty straightforward. So she's not saying that the game itself is sexist or misogynist, nor is she saying that the studio itself that developed the game is sexist or misogynist, but more so that the game encompasses a culture of misogyny and sexism that is a larger issue within the gaming community as a whole. It's a total load of absolute BS. The game has nothing to do with showing women in a negative light or anything. It's literally about a monkey that's going around slaying gods, to my understanding. Or that's just a crude way of interpreting it. All right. It's not about sexualizing women. Women are not even the center of the game. It's literally basically like the Dragon Ball version of God of War. When I say Dragon Ball, basically the game is inspired by the same mythology, evidently, that Dragon Ball Z was inspired for, Dragon Ball was inspired for. So that's basically where that comes from. But beyond that, it's just a game where people are just having fun. There are some good things, there are some bad things, but overall people are just enjoying themselves with this game. And it doesn't center around wokeism. There's no special meaning in really any of it. It's just about having a good time, enjoying yourself, kind of the way games were originally made back in the 90s, where they didn't have a lot of they didn't have an agenda. There was not a message in there. It was just about picking up the game, playing the game, and that's it. And that's kind of what we're kind of returning here. Stellar Blade came out. That game there was a lot of it definitely focused on hot chicks. I'm not going to say that, but the game also performed very well. The two biggest games of the year right now for PlayStation are Stellar Blade and then of course Black Myth Wukong. And it just shows you people are tired of woke. People don't want to hear about woke anymore. They just want to play games. And of course, developers are finding themselves between a rock and a hard place because many of them colluded with Sweet Baby Inc., who basically told them either you pay us $1 million and to get our approval for your game, or we'll basically destroy your reputation, which is somewhat what's happened with this game. But as you can see, China is basically cracking down on feminist propaganda. They are 100% cracking down on feminist propaganda, and they're making it very, very clear that this will not be tolerated in any of their games. So you can see how a lot of these countries are now viewing a lot of these things. Women basically believe that they rule the world at this point. Beyonce told them that they run the world. They don't understand that they are at the mercy of the world without men, and they are at the mercy of the state. You take a bunch of women and you group them together, and you have a bunch of what do you have? A bunch of helpless women. You take a bunch of men and you group them together. What do you have? You have a rebellion. Okay? You have the framework for a rebellion. And that's the reason why the state wants to keep men divided, separated, and silenced. They don't want male-dominated spaces. They don't want men coming together and collaborating or talking about society or what's happening. They don't want you going to the gym. That's why they've worked to help women to destroy the gym for men, because they want you fat, they want you sick, they want you depressed, they want you demoralized, so that you cannot stand up to tyranny, you cannot stand up to the state. You will just basically make money for the state, and then the state will use their agents, that be it their enforcers, police officers, and other members of law enforcement, or their core agents in extracting wealth and resources, women, because women operate as agents of the state, to reallocate wealth and resources from men to the state, and they do through criminal court, through the justice courts, through criminal court, through civil court, through divorce court, through family court, because that's how, and then women are rewarded by the state for that reallocations of funds. I mean, guys, it's a sad reality, but we're now witnessing that gaming is basically like, at least some companies are saying, hey, we're not going to comply, and we're going to make games that people enjoy, and if you don't like it, you can go to hell. 100%. And these companies are being rewarded for this, because no one wants to hear about political agendas. And right now, the way it's looking, GTA 6 is going to be woke as hell. Everyone can see it. A lot of it doesn't even make sense. The protagonist of the game, and that they've made very clear, is going to be a woman named Lucia. But so now we're going to have a game where you have a woman named Lucia, and she's going to be throwing men around like she's the Pink Power Ranger. It's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, women can do it too. They can take down. Every woman has the power to take down a grown man and throw around a grown man. It's like, what is this? What is this? It's like, yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely. So we're gonna be playing a game where you're gonna have this woman who's gonna be literally fabulous, because there's like a scene in there where there's a woman like driving on a car in a bikini. Supposedly that is Lucia as well. And it's like, so we're gonna get to play dress up. All right, we're gonna get to play dress up, and it kind of like the shift and focus is basically going to be on the perspective from this woman's perspective. But GTA 6 has always been about men having fun, picking up ladies of the night, going to gentlemen's clubs, and so forth. She's obviously in a relationship with a simp. This guy looks like a total broken husk of a man. His story has not really been shown, and you can see, like, he doesn't look like someone who's very interesting. She's very alpha. She's obviously the alpha in the relationship, telling him what to do. He does what she says, and she's probably going to be out there dating other men on the side other than him, having relationships, creeping behind his back. And we're supposed to like play this character and have fun. So this is going to be from a woman's perspective about getting her money and and beating up men. Like it's just going to be, and the feminists are going to be like, yas, queen, yas, we're powerful and we can do it. We can do bad all on our own. Yas, queen, yas. So I'm not. I think one of the developers for GTA 6 basically said that he thinks that players are going to be disappointed or something along the lines. Like, they don't think they're evidently the game cost over $2 billion to develop, which means it's the most expensive entertainment property ever made. and I honestly think that it's going to be a major flop. I don't think it's going to do very well, at least not initially. I think that it might pick up later on if people begin transitioning to GTA Online or GTA Online 2, and it might, but that's going to be even another issue because typically to enjoy GTA Online, you honestly need to play the story of the core game. And a lot of people are just not going to want to play the story. They're going to want to jump into the online portion of the game. But if you jump into the online portion of the game and there are all these characters from the main game that you have no idea who they are, that could present some issues. But again, yeah, I mean, I think that's going to drive a lot of people away. And then there's not going to be a ton of content on there initially. So why would you leave GTA 5 for GTA 6 or GTA Online 2 when when there's just like not a lot of content yet. So I feel like there's going to be it's not going to do as well as people think. I really don't. You know, I think that maybe it might have a future with PC, but there's a lot of that woke crap in the current narrative. It's going to really turn a lot of people off from it, and and of course Rockstar will then come out and claim that they're victims of the manosphere and victims of toxic masculinity because these men don't want to purchase their game. They're gonna guys, the same people who bought their game all along, they're not going to rant and rave and curse these people because they went woke. Now they've gone broke, and then they're gonna go absolutely furious and double down, just like all of these companies. And you can see what happened with Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson went woke, and now they're panicking. It's happening with a bunch of other companies because they're losing money. Guys, this is only going to lead to more companies losing tons of money for this whole woke crap and the game industry beginning to implode as companies like Nintendo take advantage of it and deliver games that people want to play that are just fun. They have nothing to do with woke or any of that. They're just fun. They're not pushing an agenda. They have nothing additional in there. They're not pandering, and I think that's going to Nintendo is going to kill it. I think Nintendo is absolutely going to kill it with the Switch 2 because I think they're going to double down on continuing to create games that people want to play. And if you look at what's happening with Microsoft, what's happening with Sony right now, that's one of the biggest problems that they absolutely have. They're creating games mostly that no one wants. All right, no one, they've allowed so much wokeism into their games that it's crap. On the other hand, you have games like Bayonetta on the Switch, that are great, right? People are sick of this. People are absolutely sick of this crap. So, yeah, I think Nintendo's going to kill it in the next chapter when the Switch 2 comes out because they're going to keep giving us the kinds of games that we want, like Metroid Prime 4, and Mario and new 3D Mario and things like that, and and all of these Chronicle games and so forth. These are the games that people enjoy. These are the games, and they don't have pretty girl. They have pretty girls fantasy in a fantasy setting. That's what sells. That's what sells 100%. But guys, this is just the reality of it, and it's going to just kind of continue to divide society, pushing more men away from certain companies, certain games, and even some guys going back to PlayStation 2 and other consoles because right now men are being monitored and arrested for the games that they play or because men bad. Anyway, guys, that's everything. And I want to remind you guys that you should be protecting your online privacy with NordVPN. You can click the link in the description to get started and support the channel. What do you guys think regarding all of this? Black Myth Wukong has exposed the feminist agenda. Let me know your thoughts and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWM and walking away. And cheers.